welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with episode 16 of My Little Pony Make Your Mark. So last time we started off this chapter of the series, still not a fan of how Netflix is putting this out, but we started with the latest one by having just Misty kind of acclimate to the group and to her new cutie mark and try to kind of figure out what it's all about, and she did by the end of the episode. She came to realize that her cutie mark is a representation of her ability to change, her ability to make a new life for herself, having emotionally moved on from Opaline's control, even if she is going to be acting as a double agent of sorts for the time being. And we also have a more direct focus on the fact that she is shy, that she's timid and nervous and anxious around others, and not really a big fan of super, like, notable, fancy to-dos. Which, again, we already knew as viewers, but having her directly say it and, like, you know, confronting her friends about it and everything is still good. And their response was fantastic as well. Telling her, it's like, you could have just told us. We're here for you, and we never want to make you feel uncomfortable. And it's like, that's exactly how you should respond to something like that. So we see that she's going to continue serving Opaline. She's hidden her cutie mark with makeup. She can't really hide her new mane style, or really mostly just color, but she made an excuse that somehow Opaline believed. Honestly, I kind of start to wonder how stupid Opaline is at times to fall for some of this shit, but whatever. I think it's more along the lines of she just doesn't care enough about Misty to really question it enough. Which, yeah, it is very much a statement. But the question kind of goes into, where do we go from here? Because this is like, what, 6 episodes this time? I think? Yeah, 6 episodes. So it's going to be interesting to see what these 6 episodes do. How they go. Are we just going to have a bunch of more Misty focus? And also, opening. Let's talk about it again. I talked about it last time a lot, so I'm going to keep this brief. But we didn't have a new opening last time with Misty included in. And I'm kind of wondering if that was because they wanted to hide the fact that she was going to get a new main style and then change the opening to reflect the new main style, which is what she's going to look like going forward. I kind of hope so, because again, if they just keep this exact same opening, it kind of feels outdated at this point. And mind you, there could be a lot of reasons for it, like I said last time, such as budget restraints and everything. But having an opening that just doesn't feature Misty as part of the group or show her new main style or anything like that would feel just super outdated. So I'm really hoping they change it, but I mean, I can't say it's guaranteed that they will. And like I said, if they don't, I kind of understand reasons why that might be, and I'm not like hating on them or anything. It's just going to be a little misstep with the series, I feel. Because, like, even with, like, Friendship is Magic, they changed the opening when Twilight became an alicorn. And when big notable changes happened, like, they updated the opening to reflect that. And that's what should happen. And again, I know the budget's different, I know all that, yada, yada, yada. But I just hope that they're able to do that here. Again, even if you still have Misty with Opaline in the opening, at least change her hair, at least change her mane. That honestly will be enough, because she's still acting as a double agent. that would be enough for me. If they still wanted that, and maybe even have her make like a different expression at that moment, that would be enough. You know, if you're not gonna have her like dancing with the rest of the main six and have her own little cutie mark freeze frame moment, it's like at least change her main style, because otherwise it's just gonna look super outdated the entire time. So we'll see if that changes this episode. If it doesn't, I honestly question if it's going to. I don't feel like they would need to wait any longer. There's only 6 episodes in this chapter. And at this point, it's like, if they don't change it after that first episode, then why would they be waiting to change it? The only reason I can think of is because that they would wait in the first place is because they didn't want to spoil the new main style. I don't know. Again, we'll see. We'll see. But in the end, it's just gonna be what it is, one way or the other. I'm still excited to see what they do with this new chapter. So I don't know anything going forward. Let us just keep moving. Let us see what comes next. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Excuse me. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I think I know what's going on here. I'm not going to say it because it hasn't been revealed or anything yet. But I think I know what's going on here. And all I'll say is it's something that people have been theorizing about. I've seen at least a few people theorizing about it since the last chapter was released. And I didn't quite buy into it. But it looks like it might be true after all. And I'll leave it at that until the next episode, because the next episode will more than likely confirm or deny it. But, so this episode, we're continuing with developing and growing Misty as a character. We're seeing her just get a lot more screen time than before. And it definitely, at least so far with the first 2 episodes here, seems to be about her. And again, we know, like I talked about this last time, I believe, the title of the subtitle of the series, Make Your Mark, is referring to her. Because this entire series so far has been about her making her mark, getting her cutie mark, and learning what it means and learning how to work with it and everything. Like, Sunny, a lot of people would figure is the main character, but I actually think Misty is. Like people compare, like, Sunny, like when they want to compare the ponies of G5 to G4, they would compare Sunny to Twilight in being like the leader of the group, quote unquote, and being the main character. And if you just watched the movie A New Generation, yeah, you would think that. But as you start to watch this series, you see that the characters actually split, like, the kind of main character role a lot more equally in this series. In G4, Twilight was 100% the main character. Yes, the rest of the main 6, even the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and even a couple other characters here and there, like Starlight, would become main characters as well. And they would have notable focus and episodes to themselves and everything. But Twilight was still very notably the main character. She was the focused main character of the series that, let's be honest, it kind of revolved around. The other characters were still very important, but it's very clear that it was Twilight's story, you know? But here, that's not the case. Sunny is not the main character. Instead, it's Misty. At least for Make Your Mark, it's been Misty's story. This series has been revolving around her. That's why all of the other members of the main six in G5 have felt like they've all equally shared the focus. Why Sunny, Zip, Hitch, Pip, and Izzy all feel like they're equally as focused on it and equally as important, with none of them, not even Sunny, feeling like they have more of a focus or more attention put on them or just more of a main character status than the others. Instead, that is especially so far in chapter 5, and that's clearly going to continue being the case in the next episode, since this is a two-parter. Clearly Misty is the focus here. Again, the subtitle of the series refers to her. This entire series so far of Make Your Mark has been about her getting her cutie mark and learning what it means and adapting to it and everything. This is Misty's story. And I think that is phenomenal. Because not only does it kind of like throw us for a loop and surprise us by not having it be Sunny, who we thought it was going to be based on the movie, but it instead has it be a character who wasn't really even in the movie. In fact, I don't think Misty was in it at all, was she? I don't think she was. I think Misty wasn't introduced until... In fact, I don't think Misty or Opaline were... No, I think Opaline was teased at the end of the movie. But I don't think Misty was introduced until the series. But to have it be a character who's not from the movie, who's from the series, and everything, who's introduced as one of the quote-unquote bad guys, but is very clearly not evil and everything, and ends up getting redeemed and becoming a good guy in a very much green Power Ranger, white Power Ranger sort of situation. I think that's a fantastic idea. And to make the entire series focused around her, to make her be the main character, is such a phenomenal idea. And I think that's why I've grown to like her character as much as I have, to the point of her very possibly getting, like, overcoming Pip to be my number one favorite pony of G5. Which hasn't happened yet, but it's very close. And I think the reason that they've done that it's like that for me is because they focused on her in such a way that it makes her feel more interesting, more important, and more likable and lovable and, you know, sympathetic and empathetic and whatnot. I talked about in the last episode how a lot of what Misty was going through and a lot of her character arc and everything, even just her shyness and everything like that, is something I could easily and strongly connect to. How in G4, my original favorite pony and the one I connected to the most was Fluttershy. And even though Pinkie Pie became my favorite, I always connected with Fluttershy a lot more, personally. And now in this, my favorite started off originally in the movie as Izzy. And then, once Make Your Mark came out, it became Pip. And now, it's very quickly becoming Izzy. I have no doubt that Izzy is going to take that spot for me. That she is going to be best pony for me. And that's not to discount Pip. I still love the shit out of Pip. Like, she was great in this episode. And I'll get to that, but... Misty is just, like, really fucking well written. Not to mention, of course, like, well acted and well designed. It's just like everything about her is just like excellence. And it's wild to think of how much effort is put into her character here. And I fucking love that the opening changed. I'm so happy that I was right. Because I was guessing, like, okay, maybe they're waiting. Uh, they didn't want to do it in the first episode of this chapter because they didn't want to spoil her new main style and everything. And I was fucking right. You have no idea how satisfying that is. Not only did they show her with the new main color and having a different expression when she is shown with Opaline, but then they add her to the very end. And again, even though she didn't get a freeze frame cutie mark moment like the other members of the main six got, she is still in there. And maybe she will. Maybe once she stops being a double agent, that part of the opening that normally shows her with Opaline, maybe that'll be replaced with her having her cutie mark freeze frame. It easily could be. But the fact is they changed the opening, even if just a little, to show the changes in Misty's design, as well as to show her as part of the main six at the end. And they did it in a way where it not only fits, but it's perfect in its handling. Like I said, even just when I saw her with Opaline with the different hair and the different expression, that would have been enough. Honestly, I would have been okay with that because she's still acting as a double agent. So I would have been okay if she wasn't shown with the rest of the main six in the opening at the end there. But the fact that she was, it's just like so fucking hype. Like I got literally everything I could have wanted there. But let's actually talk about the episode. So Misty has a dream about her past. She dreams about a memory of her past when she was a filly in Bridlewood. She gets help from the others to investigate this, thinking it's like a vision or a possible look into the future, some danger that could be coming. And so they go to Bridlewood to investigate, check out the wishing tree that was apparently in her dream, and also maybe get some help for Sparky while they're there, who is still feeling the effects of having his dragonfire stolen. So while there, they start to show Misty around, see if anything jogs her memory, and at first she's just kind of enjoying it, but soon starts to get little pieces of her memory kind of brought back into play. And they get to the wishing tree, and her magic ends up subconsciously activating it, which reveals it to be a home for the BREEZIES, which was like the biggest what the fuck moment. Listen, I know this series is canonically a sequel series to G4. I know it has made multiple references to G4, and that even Twilight is like a sort of character who has appeared, even though it's clear she's not around anymore. But at the same time, even while all of this is canon, while Celestia and Luna were shown as fillies and have a connection with Opaline and everything, while we get all of this information and all of this connection with G4, I didn't fucking expect BREEZIES. Who the fuck would expect BREEZIES? That episode in G4 was not that well received. It wasn't like horribly received. There were fans who did like it. But it's one thing I just would not have expected to return. Like, I would have expected something like Griffins and whatnot to return. Maybe sea ponies. And maybe they will still. It's very possible. Changelings and other races returning would be cool. But the first one you bring back is BREEZIES? And it's like, huh. Interesting. And let me see if I can find something real quick here. Sorry if there might be a little like lag or anything on the video, just because I'm using the browser at the moment. I just want to check because it's been a long time since I've seen that episode. There's a lot um, that I don't remember from Friendship is Magic because there's certain things that just either I didn't watch the episodes as many times as other ones, or there's just little details. Like I said with the Breezies episode, I don't remember a lot about it because I didn't like the episode and I saw it a lot less times. It Ain't Easy Being Breezies was the episode. So let's see. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, they were in previous generations as well. So it's not actually that weird that they would appear in G5 because they were in previous generations before G4. Let's see. Da, da, da. Okay, it mentions that Breezies have sensitivity to light and sound. Okay. Yeah, Fluttershy cares for the Breezies while they're recovering. I remember Seabreeze. Weak Flyers. Okay, here it mentions they live in a hollow isolated from Equestria by a magical portal that opens every so often. So I guess they moved, or maybe this is like a group of Reese's that chose to live in Equestria. Okay, here we go. Here's actually what I was looking for. Most of the Breezies speak in an unintelligible language, reminiscent of Swedish or Norwegian. I do remember that. I definitely remember the accent they had. While they all understand normal pony speech, only Seabreeze is able to speak it. So in this, it's explained that their language, their unintelligible language, is them speaking too fast for normal pony races to understand them, which does not by any means invalidate what this says here, that they speak in an unintelligible language. Though it's not really reminiscent of Swedish or Norwegian here, but that's neither here nor there. With as much time as has passed, if this group has been living in Equestria this entire time, it's possible they could have lost their accents, I guess. But that was actually my big question there. Did they have this language barrier and that Fluttershy could understand them because Fluttershy, and that is the case. And the only one who was able to actually speak normal pony speak was Seabreeze, who is our kind of the main Breezy that we focused on. Okay, so I get this confirmation. I'm glad I looked that up because I was kind of like trying to remember, because again, I've seen the episode very few times compared to other episodes, most of the other episodes of the show. It's one of those episodes that I just did not like. But counter to that, I really did like this episode, and I definitely have to see how the payoff goes in the second episode, the second part. But I did really like this comparatively. I also like that the Breezies are like trying to barter with them instead of like taking money. It's like, oh, we want your phone. Oh, you just have to guess what's in this tea and stuff like that. And it's like, I like that because it kind of fits in with Bridalwood, first of all, because that's how Alphabiddle operates with like games and challenges and puzzles and stuff. And I'm wondering if maybe the Breezies got that from him, like in the past, if they like saw him doing that and decided to do that. I could 100% believe that. The entire kind of bartering system and doing like puzzles and challenges and stuff and all, I could believe that completely. Because I don't think they did anything like that in the original. But I'm not going to look up everything. That would take too long. But anyway, so we get the Breezies. They invite them into the tree, in which we see is their little society, which is adorable. And yeah, the Breezies are actually a lot more adorable in this than they were originally. They a couple of them go to the tea house and bring Alpha Biddle and Queen Haven there as well as the other ponies there, I guess. And everybody just starts checking out the breezy marketplace. Misty starts having more memories inside the tree and eventually is given a key that is supposed to take her to where she needs to go. It seems to teleport her out of the tree or something, and the episode kind of ends with everybody searching for her and unable to find her. So yeah, it's a really good episode that is expanding upon Misty a lot while also giving us a really unexpected surprise with the Breezies that is actually kind of well handled. Like, I actually believe it. Some great visual stuff with the breezy market and just the forest and everything. We get just so much more depth to this world, to this thousands of years in the future Equestria from what G4 was. And it's building upon the characters excellently as well. There's also some great comedy in it. I mentioned Pip and the fact that she's trying to go off the grid. She's trying to just kind of enjoy life in the moment away from her phone. And she struggles with it the entire time because she's so used to using her phone for everything. To take pictures, video, to record just every moment of her life. And she is trying, and you gotta give her credit for that. She's trying to, like, just, you know, power down for this trip. And she gives it genuine effort, and she is doing it. She is succeeding, even if it's tricky for her, even if it's troublesome. And it's like, even though she's doing this, she's not going to let the Breezies have her phone because it's not meant to be a permanent thing. She's just, like, powering down for the time being. But yeah, the moments with her, like, and everything with that have been, like, really funny. Also, we found out a little bit more about Izzy's house situation because I always kind of wondered about that. We find out that she says it's not really hers per se, but that she was given it to take care of. She was assigned the tree to take care of it and keep it, like, well kept and pretty and decorated and everything. And it very much makes me wonder. Like, I've been wondering about her family situation because she's the only one. Well, okay, she and Hitch are the only ones we don't know about that. We know about Sunny. She lived with her single father and he ended up passing away. We don't know how or why, but he did. And now she's an adult who lives on her own. Well, lives with her friends now, but you know what I mean. We know Zip and Pip's family situation. We know, we don't know Hitch's, but we kind of saw, like, the kind of, like, a little bit of, like, what he was up to and everything as a kid, like, connecting with the others. So even though we never saw either of his parents or anything, we at least see his grandmother. So there's something there, you know? We do see Grandma Figgy. So we at least know something about his family life. But Izzy, we know nothing. We know she obviously has known Alpha Biddle her entire life and everything. She knows all these ponies in Bridlewood. But we know nothing about her actual family. Who was she left this? Who left her this tree to take care of? Was it her parents? Was it their tree originally, and when they either passed or went away or something, they left it to her? Was it Alpha Biddle? Was it someone else? We don't know. We know, like, practically nothing. But the fact that this episode gives us a little bit of a hint there, at least a little bit of an additional bit of depth to her character is fascinating to me. And I'm definitely interested to see where that is taken in the future, which hopefully it is. I would hope that they would expand more upon her character. And you could add Misty into that too, with being the newest member of the main six, not really knowing about her past, but very fucking clearly that's what this two-parter is touching on. It's entirely focused on revealing her past and everything. Like, that's entirely what she's trying to figure out with these memories of her past, when she clearly lived in Bridlewood as a filly. So yeah, we're finding that out here. But Izzy is the most mysterious one now of them all, at this point, because we still know nothing about her past, really. We know more about Hitch's family life, and that's saying something. It's saying something that we know at this point a little more about Misty's. Um, and I talked about how the voice acting continues to be phenomenal, and I think I talked about it last time, but I really want to talk about it again here. Bahia Watson is just completely knocking it out of the park. And I'm not just saying that because I met her. I met Anasani, Izzy's voice actor, as well, and I'm not focusing so heavily on her. I'm saying it about Misty because, like, she gets every emotion perfect. When she's scared, when she's worried, when she's like yelling, like even like when she yells to get their attention to tell them, it's like, no, let me clarify what this was about and everything. When she's like trying to figure things out, and when she's like, just every emotion, every even micro emotion that the character of Misty feels here is expressed so perfectly in her voice. And it's astounding to me. Honestly, I would say that Bahia Watson has the best performance of this, of the series. You could say that other VAs from the movie are better because, you know, they're a little more practiced, a little more, you know, they've been in the industry longer, they've done more roles. Even for like ones like Vanessa Hudgens, who's more of like an on-screen actor, it's like she's still able to act extremely well just doing her voice. Um, and James Marsden, who is Hitch, and everyone in it. Obviously, you have like the likes of Phil Lamar, who is this huge voice actor. He was Alpha Biddle in the movie, but it's like in this, like I think almost all of the voice actors are a lot newer. They're a lot more unpracticed comparatively, and they're doing a fantastic job. All of them are, but Bahia Watson just knocks everything out of the park. And honestly, it's become a lot more apparent since she ended up switching sides. Like her performance almost seems to have improved, and it's not unbelievable like that a VA's performance will improve over time. That's honestly kind of expected. You heard that honestly in G4. The performances of all the VAs in that improved over time. Like Ashley Ball at the beginning of the series with either Applejack or Rainbow Dash was nowhere near the quality of voice acting as she was at the end of the series. Hell, even Tara Strong, who is a massive voice actress, the queen of voice acting, even she was better at the end of the series than at the beginning because she perfected the character. She perfected what this character should sound like and act like and everything with her voice. And that's just going to happen. So as time goes on, yeah, Bahia Watson and everyone else are going to get better. They're going to improve because they're going to get these characters down a lot more. And we're just seeing it a lot quicker with Bahia Watson, and it's just impressing the shit out of me. It really is. And I've stated this before, but I truly believe that G5 can surpass G4 in terms of quality. But we also have to acknowledge we're still early in. Like, at the point where I'm at right now, 16 episodes, like what, 3-4 specials and a movie? It's like, that's still pretty early. That's still pretty early. G4 didn't get amazing right off the bat. It took time. It took multiple seasons. I don't expect G5 to be at its best right off the bat. And again, like I've said before, if you don't like it as much as G4, or if you're just not into it, that's also fine. You're as entitled to that opinion as anyone is entitled to love it. All opinions are correct because it's an opinion. It literally can't be wrong. It is just your subjective viewpoint. So don't let my thoughts convince you. Form your own. Form your own opinions based on your viewing experience. I'm just sharing mine. That's part of the point of these reaction videos. To not just watch the episode, but I share my thoughts. I express my opinions. That's what makes a reaction video transformative. If I didn't share my thoughts and all, it wouldn't be transformative enough to be, within fair use and shit. But because I'm transforming it, because I'm making it more about the commentary I'm giving and my thoughts on it than the episode itself and everything, that's the point. But I'm not going to get into that entire spiel here. That's not really the point at the moment. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm definitely excited to see how the second part goes. Maybe we'll get to it this week. I don't know. It's just going to depend on if I want to get to another episode at any point, and what else I end up getting to this week. But all of that being said, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of My Little Pony Make Your Mark? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.